Hi, it's Aisha Walker. I'm coming to you today with a video on credit repair and credit scores. I do have my handy notes here, so if I'm looking down, please don't mind me. One of the things that I learned in my life is the importance of paying your bills on time. Back maybe in 2000, early 2000s, a wise man told me, just make sure that you're paying your bills on time, and that will help boost up your credit score. Um, with a credit score, you are able to get low interest rates for autos, for homes. You just have a better advantage when you have a good credit score versus being stuck in these high interest loans because you have poor credit. I was in a situation where, at some point, my auto loans, I had to get the highest percentage, 28% interest on an auto loan for a $5,000 car. It was just ridiculous. So I got tired of paying those high interest rates and, getting those credit cards with those high interest rates, or even applying for credit cards and being denied. So I took it upon myself to just to buckle down and start paying my bills on time. So there are 5 factors when you think about credit or your credit score, and your credit score is grouped into these 5 categories. So one is payment history. That's 35% of what they look at. The amount that you owe, they look at 30% of that. The length of your credit history, that's 15%. Your new credit, which is 10%, and your credit mix, which is 10%. Now, when we talk about each of those credit categories, your payment history, that's the first thing that lenders want to know if you've paid other lenders in the past. So, and if you paid them on time. A lender doesn't want to give you a loan or give you credit for something if you've had 30 to 60 to 90 days past due multiple times throughout a year through the life of your loan. They want to make sure that you can pay your bills on time. So this helps lenders figure out how much of a risk it would take on if extending credit to you. So the most important factor of a FICO score is your payment history. So always make sure that you're paying your bills on time. The second thing is the amount owed, which is 30%. So having credit accounts and owing money on them doesn't mean that you're a high-risk borrower. God, I can't say that word. Jesus. With a low FICO score. But if you're using a lot of your available credit, this may show creditors that you are overextending yourself and they don't want to loan to you because you have too much debt out there. You're owing too much on the credit that you already have. So when they see that, they can see you or may see you as defaulting in your loans, and you don't want creditors to see that. You want to show that you can have this amount of credit and maintain that usage below 30%. Your length of credit history is 15%. So a longer credit history will increase your FICO score. So if you have a credit card that you had since 2000 that you don't use, don't close it. Keep it open. I have 2 credit cards that I've had for a long time, and I'm actually paying annual fees on those, and I really don't like the fact that I am, but because those are my longest standing credit cards, I'm keeping them open to keep that length of credit history open. Your FICO score takes into account how long your credit accounts have been established, including the age of your oldest account, the age of your newest account, and the average age of all of your accounts. How long specific credit accounts have been established, and how long it has been since you used certain accounts. Excuse me. So for your credit mix is 10% of your score. So your FICO score will consider a mix of your credits, which is credit cards, retail accounts, installment loans, finance company accounts, and mortgage loans. So it's not necessary to have one of each, but that is what's in your credit mix. And then the last factor that we discussed earlier was new credit, which is another 10% of your credit. So research does show that opening several credit accounts in a short amount of time represents a greater risk, especially for people who don't have a long credit history. So if you can avoid not opening a bunch of accounts too fast, don't open a bunch of accounts too fast. Another thing that you want to do is if you have derogatory marks on your account, medical bills, try to settle with those collection companies. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna settle with you. There are some that, depending on which state you live in, there are some that may say, oh, well, this creditor told me that I can't settle, you have to pay in full. That's fine. You may not need to pay that bill right then and there. But one of the things that I have done personally to help increase my score, I went from a low 500 score to almost 800 score. It took a lot of time. It's not something that happens overnight. It does take time. But the first thing that I did was I made sure that I was paying my current bills on time. Not everyone is in a financial situation to go and just pay off everything. So if you can pay your current bills on time, that does a lot. The second thing is download Credit Karma. Credit Karma will show you your credit report. It may not be as accurate as other credit apps, but at least you can get a quick snapshot of what your credit looks like, what's on your credit report, any collections that's on there, the names of the creditors, that's things that are in collection. All of that is on Credit Karma. If there's something on your credit report that doesn't look familiar or that's not yours, you can dispute it, and they'll delete it. They'll research it first, and if it's warranted, then they'll delete it. So always keeping track of what's on your credit report, Credit Karma. The next thing is when you do come into some money, like, most people get taxes back. So instead of splurging on a new TV or new furniture every year, you can use a portion of that to pay down some derogatory marks. The less derogatory marks that you have on your credit, the higher your credit score will go. Those were some of the things that I personally did. And again, it took some time. It took a very long time. I started working on my credit in 2006. It is now 2020, and I am where I want to be now. So if, you want your credit to be A1 so that you can have that freedom of going into either a car dealership and saying, I want this car with your best rates, or getting a mortgage with the best interest rate because of your credit. All of those things, credit has a factor in. So just paying your bills on time. Even if you pay off a derogatory mark. So if you have a medical bill in collections that was $500, call a creditor. Say, hey, I have $200 I can pay now. They'll probably say, well, let me see what I can do. And they'll either take it or they'll say, okay, well, we can't take $200, but we can take $250. Pay the $250, just pay it off. When you pay it off, if you have Credit Karma, go on Credit Karma 2 days later, dispute it, and just say other and that you paid it, and they'll delete it off your report, and your credit score will go up. So those are some little tips and tricks that you can do when paying off those derogatory marks, and to get them deleted instead of waiting 60 days for the credit bureau to take it off. Just dispute it that you paid it, and they'll delete it off right away. So these are some of the things that I've done to help my credit, to help build my credit. If there are any questions that you all have, I know I went pretty quick through this video and some of the things that I did, but if you guys have any questions or you want to hear more about a certain topic when it comes to credit, just leave a comment below and I will be sure to answer those questions. If I need to do another video on it, I'll do another video on it. But again, just another recap. The key to having good credit just off the bat is paying your bills on time. Another tip, sorry, I'm going back. So another tip is if you have a relative who is nice enough to piggyback you off of their credit, and they have good credit, you want to make sure this is a person that pays their bills on time. You don't want to do it with someone who's delinquent with their bills, because it'll just mess your credit up. So someone who has excellent credit, who pays their bills on time, they can piggyback you off of one of their credit cards, and that will help increase your credit as well. I've done it for my kids. All of my children have had A1 credit. Those are my tips. If you like this video, if this video was helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up. If it wasn't helpful, it's okay to give it a thumbs down. It's quite all right. I am new to this. I am learning. I am figuring it out. But subscribe if you felt it was helpful. If you want to hear more, leave a comment. If you like this Boss Life shirt, a Boss Life shirt, check out my Instagram, Aisha Y. Walker, to see how you can purchase. Thank you for watching.